One of the most common questions I get is, how do I price my products? And I can't tell you the answer. I can tell you how I do it and how some other people do it, but it's really up to you to determine that, because your costs to do something are different than my costs. What's up, print fam? Welcome back to the print shop. My name is Darren. You guessed it. Today's video is all about pricing. I like to price mine in what I like to call cost plus, because I need to make sure I can pay for this printer and pay for the material and pay for the ink and pay for all of the things that are associated with the printer or the business. So I like to take my cost of things, so the cost of material, the cost of the printer rent, because that's basically what I'm doing. I'm renting the printer. It's a lease to own. But I like to take all of those things to get that number. So that lump sum, let's say it's $100. So from $100, I like to then add my profit onto it. And my profit is my choice. How much money do I want to make for this product? In my case, I like to have it at about 200%. So we have $100, $200, and I take $100 plus $200, and that equals $300. And that's typically how I like to price my products. Within that cost, the $100 cost, I calculate everything. I calculate the material, the ink, a setup fee, the expense of having the building, because those are my costs associated with doing that. So it makes it really simple to know, okay, everything is covered when doing this job. If it costs me $100, my profit's going to be $200. The bill to the customer will be $300. That's how I like to do it if it's something that I'm doing in-house. Now, my profit is not the same on everything. My large format printer, the flatbed, has a different margin than my roll printer, then different than my laser, is different than my Konica. And I've made calculators, which are available. I'll leave the link down in the description. That's how I price things, because it makes my life easier. It doesn't make me question things. It doesn't make me forget things, because it's all built in to the calculator. And the funny thing is if you use my calculator, you're likely including the cost of my overhead in your calculation, which is not a bad thing. The only problem is it might not be the right overhead for your business, but adding it at least helps and will cover a bunch of the expenses. Now, that's for everything that I do internal, but what if you don't own a flatbed and you outsource that or use a trade printer like this video sponsor, firesprint.com? There's a glare. Sorry you can't see it, but Firesprint is a trade-only printer, so they have the machines so you don't have to. If you sign up for firesprint.com, you can save 10% off your first order by using the coupon code DNSCURE. They are a large format printer, so they do yard signs, stickers, magnets, all those fun large prints, so you don't have to have the big expensive equipment. So thank you, firesprint.com, for sponsoring today's episode. Now let me tell you how I would sell or mark up the products that I buy from Firesprint. The way that I would do it is I would log in to firesprint.com or log into whichever provider I'm outsourcing or using as my partner to manufacture it. And I would take whatever the cost is, which one of the reasons I love Firesprint is they do free shipping over $49. So it makes it super easy. You don't have to get shipping estimates and figure that out. I think they have a couple of restrictions, but for the most part, everything is free shipping. And so I can go on there, I can figure out, hey, what's the price of yard signs? And I actually used that recently to my benefit. I had a customer in Texas that wanted 250 yard signs. And can I print them myself? Yes. But I told them, basically, it originally started, we want to do 100 yard signs. And I convinced them, well, I didn't convince them. I basically used it as an opportunity of, hey, if you order over 200 yard signs, then I'll give you free shipping, which normally when I'm shipping them like 20 or 30 yard signs, I charge them like $50 for it. So for them, it was like, we can get free shipping if we just order more signs. And so they did a bulk order rather than their little mini orders. So the way that I price it typically for all of my trade vendors is I'll go on their website, figure out what the cost is, and that cost needs to include any setup fees and the production fees and everything like that. And I will times it by somewhere between 2 and 3. So if the product, it's kind of like my own internal calculation, if the product costs $100 and I'm timesing it by 2, then it's $200. So that's what I'll charge the customer is $200. So I don't have the same margin or profit that I have if I'm producing it in-house, but I also don't have the same expenses, which is part of the reason my internal profit margin is higher, because I have to account for more things when I do it myself, because I have to cover insurance, I have to cover lights, utilities, all the miscellaneous tools, tape, rubber bands, waste, versus when I'm outsourcing it, I don't have to do that. Now, usually I'm more than 2 times when I do it. I'm usually more close to 2.25 or 2.5, but I will go as far as 3. And that's not to say that that's my max either. Sometimes I will do more than that. That's kind of my logic. Internally, I use my calculators all the time, and that's how I price things. Externally, most of the time, I'm like 2.25. So if it's $100, I charge $225 to the customer. That's not how everyone does it. Some people just decide a cost, and it's like, oh, if I'm doing stickers, then it's 4 cents a square inch or 5 cents a square inch, and they'll do a calculation once, but they never change it. For me, because I use my internal calculators, it's changing all the time. If I have a new price for my material, I update that price and I go through and select it. Makes it super easy, super convenient. I'll even link to a video that goes over more in depth about how my calculators function, as well as a link if you would like to buy them. If you price different, I would love to hear how you do it, because I'm always interested in learning and growing for myself. Thank you, Print Fam, for being here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.